Hi family, welcome to Intimate Conversations with Francis O'Brien, healing one heart at a time. It's a beautiful Sunday. The birds are outside and just having a very, a fantastic choir, might I add, in my area. So it's been raining beautifully this week and this weekend. And I hope that wherever you are, that you are blessed, that you are safe, amidst this corona pandemic. I pray that God is giving you and your family strength and is giving you courage more than anything. One thing I'll encourage you is to never be afraid, especially as a Christian. This was predicted in the Bible. The pestilence, the war, the unsettlement, the discord, the governments that are crashing, and the markets that are crashing. All of this was predicted in the Bible, and if you're a child of God, you will know not to be afraid, not to be afraid at all. But today I'm going to be introducing a new topic as usual, so make sure that you grab your pen and paper, and I hope that you do have a pen and paper with you so that you can grab these notes or take notes of the stuff that I will be sharing with you today. It's, as always, I pray that it is an insightful message. I pray that it is an encouraging message, and I pray that it is a message of hope and of healing, because as I've always said, my goal is to actually help people heal, and to do that I have to share my experience. There is no other way I feel of spreading God's love and the message of the word than to talk of one of the many things that Jesus Christ did on this earth, and one of them was healing. People only think of healing as a physical aspect, but there also is an emotional aspect, a mental aspect to it, a spiritual aspect to it, other than just the physical, part of healing. So thank you so much once again for joining me on Intimate Conversations with Francis O'Brien. Of course, healing one heart at a time. Let's get into the topic of today. And the topic of today, which I took about a while actually to finish off this topic, because it's also a hurdle I feel that I have passed, and it has been quite challenging, I must say. And obviously as I get into the topic, I'll explain how it has been difficult for me to not only pen this, but to experience it, because experiencing this, and I'm still experiencing it, or rather I'm still walking the journey, because that's what life is. There's nothing that is really conclusive. The only thing that is conclusive are the different chapters in your life, and once you've concluded those chapters, it's on to another one, whether it's more pleasant or it's unpleasant. But we have to keep on moving. We don't have a choice but to keep on moving, and then trust that God is there each and every step of the way. But like I said, I've got a new topic today, so let's get to it. Right, and the topic of today is how to find yourself. How to find yourself. And it's a very difficult question. And most of us are living lives of getting lost either in the trends, getting lost in patterns, getting lost in societal categorization, for lack of better words. And we're very scared to be alone. We're very scared to be individuals. We're very scared to stick out. But the thing is, as individuals, we're already sticking out. It's just that we're afraid to be who we are, or what God has created us to be. And it's a very difficult thing to find yourself. Everybody thinks that finding yourself is just walking your purpose, and that's it. It's part of it. It's part of it. There's many things in terms of finding yourself. And we get lost in translation along the way. We meet up with people who either teach us different sides to them. We meet up with people who, influence us in different ways. Sometimes we fall into those influences. Sometimes we're strong enough to resist them. But I'm talking to the many of us that have fallen under the influences of different people. And if there's anything I believe that is difficult in this world, it's to find yourself. I believe it's difficult. It's difficult because for the first time in your life, you are putting yourself first. And when I talk to women particularly, or rather when I'm speaking about women, myself included, obviously, finding yourself is very difficult, especially when you're a wife, when you're a mother, your career, all oriented individual, it is very difficult to find yourself amongst all these roles that we play, particularly as women, but as human beings as well. And because women are so used to giving, we're so used to being martyrs for our families, for our husbands, for our children. We're used to being selfless. We are used to taking the back seat and not even caring per se that this thing is bothering me. But every time we do that, it eats away at our individuality. And that's what we don't realize until we are lost to ourselves and we are in the abyss of life. And it shouldn't be like that. It really shouldn't be like that. And finding yourself honestly can come at any point. Finding yourself can come at a point when you realize you haven't been good to yourself. You haven't been kind to yourself. That's when you find yourself, when you come to that realization that you are not happy with yourself and you realize, you know what, Francis, I haven't been good to me. I haven't been kind to me. I haven't taken care of myself. I haven't nurtured myself. And this is particularly difficult. Like I said, we get lost in translation. Lots of things happen to us. And in the midst of all those things happening to us, we are forgetting that we are growing and years are passing. And a lot of time is wasted on us not being ourselves and us not focusing on ourselves. So for me, this is the thing where I've come to realize, finding yourself, and this is important, finding yourself can come at any time in your life, at any time. Sometimes it's influenced by the death of somebody, sometimes it's, there are those birds. Wow. What I wouldn't give for a catapult right now. But anyway, let's move on. Finding yourself can come at a time, like I said, when you've lost somebody, the ending of a relationship, the loss of a job, the survival of a sickness. There's different things that can happen to us. Or rather, let me put it this way. Finding ourselves or finding yourself can happen at any point in your life. It can happen before marriage, it can happen after marriage, it can happen before children, it can happen after children, and as well as many of the examples that I've given before. Sometimes different relationships or encounters with certain people can motivate us to find ourselves because we are so moved by the way this person seems to have everything in line and everything that they have planned for themselves. They seem to have it in order. Sometimes we even envy people because, you watch different influencers on social media and you realize these people seem to have it. When am I going to get it? Like, when am I going to get it? You get it only when you come to the realization that you have not been kind to yourself and you have not been good to yourself. Why? Because there's this void. You have tried to imitate this person. You have tried to mimic this person. You have tried to live a certain lifestyle that is not you, and there's still no satisfaction. There is no closure, and you're not happy. Then you'll get to reflect and think, okay, why am I not happy? And when you realize, why am I not happy? Is it because I don't have a car? Is it because I'm not? And funny enough, with the different pointers that I've actually have here, none of them are materialistic. At least I think they're not. None of them are really materialistic. That just goes to show you how much value we place in things that don't have value in our lives. Point. Right, so let's get on to the topic of the day. Understand and acknowledge that this is God also telling you that it is time to live not only for yourself, but also for Him. It is important for you to understand that God wants the best for you. It is important to understand that God is concerned about your happiness. He's concerned about the things that you're concerned about. It's difficult to come to the point where you see yourself alone, because here's the thing, finding yourself requires a certain degree of solitude, which a lot of people don't like. A lot of people like getting to the point where or rather not they like, but they're constantly surrounded by noise, whether it's music, whether it's company, whether it's company in terms of family and friends coming over, or they're going over to somebody's house, or they're going for an outing. Or the thing is that you need to be alone. And people don't like being alone because, one, they don't want to hear the voice of reason. Because God comes and He speaks to you. And He urges you in a specific way. And He reminds you, this is not the way you should go. You should do this. But because we are so afraid of listening to that voice and deviating from what everybody else is doing, and that would cause us to stick out, to think, oh, no, I think I'm fine. Let me just go. Eventually things will change. But the truth is, they really don't change. They really don't change until you change. And you would be surprised, and I've always said this, and I think I said this in the video before, that you would be surprised how much you learn about yourself and the world at large. Because when you're in solitude, it forces you to read, it forces you to research, it forces you to do something with your time. It forces you to do that when you are alone. Because you will talk to yourself so many times. You will come to the realization of many things that you were probably clueless about, or that you were really not cognizant of. You know, you were aware that this thing was happening, but you weren't aware of the gravity of whatever it is, that issue is that was in your life. And again, another thing is you will realize that there is so much more to life. All of this is a journey of you finding yourself. There is so much more to life. I can only say to you in this way because I have walked that path, and I'm still walking that path of finding myself. Doing this channel is just one part, I believe, of who Frances is. There's many other things I think I can do. And another thing, you know, people are afraid to try new things. We're very comfortable in our comfort zones. And I was one of them. Ooh, I think if there's anything that a Cancerian, and not to be a horoscopic person, but Cancerians are very comfort zone people. Like, don't make me deviate. As much as we love life, like, don't make me deviate from something that I'm very used to. It unsettles me, it unnerves me like you cannot believe. So, having started writing this, I think about a week or two ago, I realized, you know what? It's not only meant for others, it's meant for me. That's why I said in my previous video of how to let go, journal. When you journal, you will learn a lot about yourself. You really will learn about yourself, especially when you go back in your books and you realize, oh, is this what happened to me then? Wow, what was I thinking then? Geez, I've grown. So, and there's a link that my mom actually sent to me, and when she sent it, it was so timeless with this message because it coincided, and it was so odd for her to email me this link at the same time I'm writing something that is so similar to what she has emailed me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this email or a link to in the descriptions below. Please make sure that you click on that link, and you will understand how I related it to this. It's about a young woman. She's a blogger. I think eventually I think she's a journalist, if I'm not mistaken. And she also went onto the bandwagon of finding herself. And like I said, family, it can happen at any time. I think it's even better when it happens to you when you are actually not in a committed relationship, because you've got a lot of time to invest in yourself. It's very difficult, and I feel it'll take much longer, especially when you're in a committed relationship like marriage, because now your focus is with somebody else and it's about building your life together, etc., etc. So, how you also know that you're on the right path of finding yourself is that things seem to coincidentally fall into place. You find that you're kinder to yourself. You're not in a rush. I can't explain it. It's the most calming thing. And that's another thing added to finding yourself. You become more calm. You become more relaxed. Nothing is so panicky. Nothing is urgent. Nothing is unnerving. It's just like, that's life. And that also goes with maturity as well. So, like I said, the article, I got it off the Huffington Post website. That was the link my mom sent. So I'm going to make sure that I put that in the description box below. So right, let's get into the first topic of today. In terms of finding yourself, I think I've explained a whole lot in terms of why I was encouraged by this and why I wrote it and the different things that motivated me, I think, just in a nutshell, in terms of this topic today. So the first step to finding yourself is invest in yourself. And I know you've heard this so many times. That's why I said many of us do the same thing, but you can resonate with my version. So there's nothing wrong with anybody else out there also saying the same thing that I am saying. They may say the same thing or the same point, but put it in a different way that would resonate with somebody else. So number one, invest in yourself. And there may have been things, dreams, projects, assignments, perhaps that you've set for yourself, or even targets that you've set for yourself a long time ago. Maybe when you were young, you had different passions and, and goals and dreams that you wanted. And you just thought life carried you along the way and you just put your goals on pause. Right. It is time now to put those goals into action. You know why? Because you're investing in yourself. Who better to invest in if not yourself? And most times, even as mothers, we invest in our children and we want the best and we focus so much on them, but we forget to invest in ourselves. Ladies especially, it's important to invest in yourself. It's important to invest in your appearance, in your health, whatever it is. But the Bible says in Habakkuk 2 verse 2, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So whether it's a course in particular that you have an interest in or a profession you'd like to pursue, whether it's weight loss, like I said, or whether it's just your image, or whether it's traveling the world, which is another thing that I'd like to start doing, which is traveling, because I believe it opens your eyes and it teaches you a lot, and you just are reminded how minuscule you really are on the earth. But invest in yourself. Some people, they don't even know their neighborhood. Not to talk of anything further than a grocery store. They don't. Anything beyond a Pick n Pay or a Spa or a Woolworths or a shopping mall, some people don't know. Some people have gone to one shopping mall for at least 10 years of their life and they are just okay. If it's not a shopping mall, then it'll be the local grocery store in the area. Come on, this world is for us to travel in. Yes, you may say, you know what, I don't have the money to move around. But guess what? When you do have the money, think of what you're actually spending that money on. This is why I say invest in yourself. Some people have never traveled to the neighboring city. Invest in yourself. Go to that course. Makeup, fashion designing, I don't know, some form of artistry. There's different things that you can do, but invest in whatever talent it is that you've always wanted to invest in, or goal or dream or project that you wanted to start. You may want to start a consortium and then, maybe get into building and or construction, stuff like that. Nothing stops you. There's different facets to every person. It's not just the one thing. There's many things. So if you don't invest in yourself, you won't know what it is that you really actually like doing. And I think there's nothing as pleasant as getting to try something and thinking, I actually don't like this, and then try something else different. There's joy in just trying something and then knowing that I actually did try it and nobody can just talk about it and I don't have anything to contribute, to whatever that person is saying. So that's pointer number one, invest in yourself. Pointer number two, go for pampering sessions. That's how you can also learn to find yourself. Go for pampering sessions or do a bit of self-pampering at home. And I've been watching a lot of those on YouTube, and you'd be surprised how much YouTube or content YouTube has. There's so many different, YouTubers that I follow, and they talk about self-pampering as well. And, you can go for half-day or full-day sessions at a spa. If you can't afford a spa, guess what? You can do it at home. You can get yourself some honey, you can get yourself some tomatoes, some lemons, you can do a facial scrub at home. Pamper yourself. Pamper your skin. Pamper your hair. When was the last time you've actually just sat down on a couch while you're watching TV? Or even if you're not watching TV, and just rubbed your own feet? Without waiting for somebody to come and rub your feet for you. Just rub your own feet. Like, enjoy the act of rubbing your feet and spoiling your feet and thinking, I've never really cared for my body. scrubbing your skin and, you know, maybe trying a different type of lotion. Lately I've been into not bath bombs but shower bombs, and I've just been enjoying shower bombs. So it's a pampering session, and there's different levels of, on this point number 2, which is pampering yourself, there's many pointers that I'm going to put, just a few I think, that I will put under this pointer of pampering yourself. And I'm going to leave it at here before I move on to point number 2 under pampering. Right, so the other pointer under pampering yourself is go for nature walks. Hike. Last year I started going for walks after I came from work. And I can't tell you it's nice. It's a form of exercise, but it's also a form of just breathing nature's air. There's something really nice about just being outdoors. Sometimes also confining yourself in your flat or your house or your apartment can be stifling to your mind, to your emotions, to everything else. Teach yourself to go out for nature walks. A bit of outdoor scenery will do you a whole lot of good. And another thing, swimming is another exercise. If you don't mind being in water, like I don't, and a lot of them are like, oh, my hair. You know, sometimes hair is not everything. Whip that wig off or that weave off and just jump into a swimming pool, like be a child again, and see how happy you will feel afterwards. You don't have to do it with somebody. If you want to do it with people, with friends, with family, or somebody that you trust, then go ahead and do it. Even if you can't swim, nothing stops you from going to the pool and sitting on the edge of the pool and just dangling your feet in the cold water, sipping it, you know, a drink, juice, water, whatever it is, on a beautiful sunny day. Swimming is also a good form of exercise. So I believe in going out for nature walks, which I've started doing. Swimming, I can't really find a local swimming pool. There is, but I don't think it's deep enough, because I'm a water baby. I'm a water baby. Right, point number 3 under pampering sessions is take yourself out for a movie or a meal. It's quite an exhilarating experience to know how much fun you can have on your own. Some people don't know. I tell you, sometimes when I sit on my own, I have a lot of fun. And people will be asking, so do you live alone? And you say, I live alone. And they think, isn't that boring? And like, no, it is not boring. I actually enjoy, you know, that living alone experience. Coming from the relationship that I had been through and getting to be in a space of my own, I'm actually doing now what I should have done then, even before that I met up with, you know, my ex. And I'm enjoying it. You know, dress up and go out. Put on some makeup, you know, wear a favorite outfit and go out on your own. Go out for a movie. You know, funny enough, when I think I mentioned this in a previous video, I took myself out to lunch the other day, as I'm sitting as I'm sitting at the table, the waiter comes to me and he's like, ma'am, is it a table for 2? And I'm like, no, it's actually a table for 1. So he had this look. So he's like, oh, okay, no, fine, ma'am. Nah. So I sit at the table and he brings me the menu. And what would you like to drink? I said, for now, just bring me some water. And I normally like having coffee. So I'm sitting there. Then eventually he's like, would you like to order now? I'm like, I'm fine. I'd like to order. So I order, Come in. The manager of the eatery I had gone to, he comes by. He's like, ma'am, are you all right? Are you waiting for someone? Can we bring another menu? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm not waiting for anybody. And then you get people in the restaurant that also look at you thinking, why is she eating by herself? It's crazy how much we program our minds to do things with people all the time. You don't have to do things with people all the time. I mean, you can go to the bathroom alone, that's for sure. But you know what? It is so much fun to just take time and spoil yourself. And I remember I took my journal with me. And as I was sipping my coffee, I was writing down notes. I was writing down my experience of sitting there in that eatery and having people look at me wondering. Guys were like walking, thinking, okay, when is she getting her date? And nobody came. It was funny, and I was writing down all of that, you know. just to look at people's quizzical looks of, why is she eating by herself? Is there something wrong with her? Is she weird? Honestly, I didn't care. And maturity also teaches you to not really care about people's opinions. I really didn't care. You know, what people think and say about you when you are at a certain stage in your life becomes completely irrelevant, because it doesn't add to your growth process. If anything, I feel now, it just makes me a whole lot stronger as an individual, because I've gotten to realize that I really care less about people's opinions, because now I'm beginning to find, or I'm finding myself. So only you can be the person responsible for looking after you. You're the only person responsible for looking after you. Nobody can do it better than you. You know, and when I was done with my meal, I stood up and I thought, you know, that actually wasn't bad. And I could get used to this, and I could do this over and over again. Here's the nice thing. When you get to meet somebody, they already meet you doing these things for yourself. So it actually makes you an equally bigger bunch of fun to be around, because there's things that you can do on your own, and you don't have to rely on somebody to make you happy. This is in preparation for you also getting into a relationship, whether it's in, you know, for whatever reasons you're getting into, which I'm assuming is for love. But when you have now focused on yourself and you're building yourself, I tell you now, nothing is more empowering than that. Nothing is more empowering than that. Right, so let's move on to point number 2, because we have covered the pampering sessions, which is going for pampering sessions, going for nature walks, and taking yourself out. So, hope you enjoyed that story of me taking myself out. And I must say, I've done it a couple more times, and it's really been pleasant and a different experience, I must say. The looks will be there, but you know, when you're investing in yourself, it doesn't really matter what people think and what people say. It's like water off a duck's back. Right, so how to find yourself, number 2. So we're talking about how you, so number 1 was to invest in yourself by all those different pointers I gave. And then number 2 is go for dance classes, which is also part of investing for yourself, but I decided to put this as a different, investing in yourself rather, but I decided to put this as a different pointer. So go for dance classes. I, as a matter of fact, actually like dancing. I dance a lot, believe it or not. And I don't think I've got 2 left feet. I actually like kizomba, and I don't do like the contemporary dance or the ballroom dancing, and I don't pop lock. I just dance like everybody else does, you know. I find it a bit difficult because the classes that I'm interested in my area, they normally take place after work, and it's a bit difficult for me after work because it's late. That's 1, and then 2, it's only an hour left from the time I come out of the office, get to the dance studio and do a bit of dancing before the dance studio closes. So the dancing is a bit of a challenge for me, but those who can, it's a feel good and a workout session for you. Dancing is an incredible way of just having fun. Now obviously it's a bit difficult to go to an outing by yourself, like a club, or you know, and just go, especially a club. I think it's really odd to go on your own and go dancing. You're going to obviously have the occasional, would you like to dance? Can I dance with you? Can I buy you a drink? And you're like, you know what, I'm not about that. So obviously you'd go out dancing with your friends, your girlfriends, going for parties at house parties, as they would call them, and then maybe going out to the club with your friends. But I think going for a good dance session is really great. And now the fantastic thing is actually gyms are incorporating that into the part of their workout programs, which is nice. What do they call it? Zumba classes. And I remember I used to attend those, and then I moved. Oh, it was just so devastating because I really enjoyed going for Zumba. It's really a feel-good session, and you know what? I've got the moves. I got the moves. So yes, go out for a dance, what you call a dance class, and mingling with different people. I think is a really it's an interesting experience because you get to meet people who think they can dance and they really can't dance to save their life, and you're like on the side. But on a more serious note, I think it's just fun and mingling with people, and it also helps you build your interaction skills. When you spend too much time on your own, you tend to be an introvert, and as a result, you forget to mingle with people. So in your finding yourself, don't forget to still interact with people and mingle with people, because you will lose yourself in the process of also finding yourself, and that's not what you're trying to do. Mingling with people also builds your confidence. It just helps you, build your social skills or your socializing skills, for lack of better expression. So number 2, finding yourself, is go for dance classes. Number 3, read. I can't emphasize this enough. You need to read anything and everything that you could possibly get your hands on. Read about current affairs. Like, most motivational speakers would say, at least know a little about something. You can't be that oblivious or that ignorant either. Rather, you can't be that ignorant. Learn a little about something. But don't forget also, as a Christian, read the Bible. It's important to read the Bible. It's important to read the Bible. But I think I'm going to touch on that point a whole lot deeper, much further as we read. So, read books, novels, fictional. You don't have to be a serious person all the time. Growing up, I used to love comics, and honestly I think I'm still a comic fan. Not that I'd go to Comic-Con. No, I don't think I would. Or would I? Anyway, read fictional stories, read romance, read biographies of people that you think are interesting in this world. Read anything and everything. Just read. Those are some of the things that you can use to also pass time in you finding yourself. Your vocabulary will definitely expand. It'll be a whole lot better. You'll become more eloquent, more articulate in the way you present yourself, more confident. That's the benefit of reading. And more importantly, you are educating yourself. That's the importance of investing in yourself or in finding yourself. Read. Right? Point number 4. Journal or write down your thoughts. This is very important, because I also mentioned it, I think, on how to let go in my previous video. It also applies in finding yourself. Journal your thoughts and your growth. It is imperative to journal this. Words aren't enough to express how important this is and how it's been helpful to me. I can't tell you now. As I said to you in the previous video, and I said God did tell me to write down, because I'm one of those people. I used to really write, but when you mingle with people, they kind of kill certain aspects of you, certain dreams and interests that you used to have. So when I picked up my interest in writing, which obviously with the writing as well, I'm writing content for my show. Some people believe in just typing it out. I think just the good old-fashioned pen to paper is more therapeutic, as I said in the previous video. Write down all your fears, your wishes, your secrets, your projects, your plans. It's very important. Jotting down thoughts is very helpful, because in future when you read your journal and you reflect, you're able to track your growth. And that's what's important. That is very important. You will get to see how much you went through, how much you have grown, and you will appreciate yourself a whole lot more. But more importantly, you will appreciate God and what God has done for you. You will appreciate what God has saved you from, how God has grown you, how God has protected you. It's important to journal. I can't emphasize this enough. It's important to journal. Recently, as I was reading through my most recent journal, I think I showed you in one of my other, in the previous video, I showed you that I learned a lot of what I had been through, and I learned a lot about the people that were in my life as I was writing down my different experiences, and I got to realize and reflect who was important, what this person contributed, how I grew by meeting a certain people, how I digressed by meeting a certain person, how I digressed by meeting a certain person, my struggles, my conquests or victories, no matter how small they were. It was still monumental. It was still incremental to my growth. Not only was I shocked at some discoveries, truth be told, because there were certain realizations that I came to, and you're like, oh, really? So is this what I actually went through? Is this the person that I was actually talking to? This kind of person. And you can only get to that realization, I promise you, when you jot down stuff. Jotting down is a very incredible experience. And make sure that you go back to your journal and read. Read. I promise you, when you read the stuff that you have written, you are going to find yourself, because you will realize, I didn't like that version of myself. And you know what the beauty of this is? You've got no one to share this with. You are sitting in your own space and you're reading your journal and you're reading your notes, and you realize, oh my God, like I don't like what I did, or I don't like this person in my life because they've exposed me to 1, 2, and 3, or they've, they have introduced me to a certain thing or things that I don't like, that are not good for me. That's how you find yourself. You have to, it's a personal track record, and make sure that you hide it in your space, in a place where you know nobody can find it. It is important. If you're a mom and you journal your growth, make sure that your kids never get to read your book, especially your kids, probably even your partner, because there's some dark things you may write about yourself, and not everybody will understand where you are coming from or what your mindset was at that time. Because if I've written this down now, somebody may think I'm still stuck in that spot where I wrote that at that present moment, but meanwhile I have changed and I've grown, and I'm no longer what I wrote at that particular time. And more importantly, you can get judged, and it's so painful to get judged by people. That's why, and it's not everything that you can go telling people. That's why I encourage writing in a journal. Write, and then don't forget to read your journals. Read it from the very beginning. If you've written 10 books, read the very first one. Go through your journal again and see how much you have grown. I'm telling you, you'll be shocked how much you've grown. You will be shocked at how much you accepted. You'll be shocked at how much you tolerated. You'll be shocked at how much you will probably lack judgment in a specific area. It will bring you to a very powerful state of self-awareness, where you realize that, okay, I need to grow up now. I need to change. I need to alter this behavior. I need to become a better person. I need to invest more in myself. That type of thing. It's important. I can't even emphasize it enough. So, point number 5 is reflect, which is an expansion of the previous point. Reflect. Reflection helps in progression, especially in, when you're on the mend, which is finding yourself. You're on the mend when you're finding yourself, because you have obviously reached a point in your life where you're not happy with certain things, and you think, you know what, I need to take time for me. When you say take time for me, that's you finding yourself. You're finding yourself. You can't possibly be shy to read your own thoughts, as I said in the previous pointer. You can't. It's just you and God who are reading those points. You cannot be shy, because it's you. And I mean, you have to face yourself. Come on, you can't run from yourself. Because the funny thing is you're running from yourself, you're still carrying yourself running. That makes sense. Funny enough, I actually jacked that line from a movie that I watched. When this guy approached a stranger who had just come into town, and he said, why are you here? And the guy says, no, I'm actually running from yourself. And he says, the funny thing that you're running from yourself is actually you're running yourself. That's you running with yourself, but you're running from yourself. So the guy just turned around and looked at me and was like, huh. And I'm like, yeah, huh. I think that was really funny. So you can't spend your time running from yourself. It doesn't make sense to run from yourself. You have your own thoughts. You have to face them at one point or another. And going back to the point on reflection, it's just important to journal. Keep your journal in the safe spot. It's important to keep your journal in a safe spot. You don't want it to fall into the wrong hands, because people won't understand you. And, you grow every second, every minute. You're not always in the same spot or mindset every single time, every single day. You change. So what I wrote yesterday is not what I'm thinking today. I'm thinking on something completely different. Do you know what I mean? So just make sure that you keep your journal in a safe spot. Right. Point number 6 of finding yourself is pray. I can't say this point as well enough. You need to pray. there is nothing more beautiful than spending quality time with your Maker. It's beautiful to spend time with God. It is beautiful to spend time with God. He's such a beautiful and a loving Father. And Jesus Christ coming paved the way for us to talk to God at any time and at any place. Sometimes, you don't have to always be quiet to be in prayer. I could be praying in my spirit at the same time talking to you. I could be, and in my spirit right now is like, Father, I just pray that what I'm saying will touch somebody's heart and it'll provide healing, it'll provide clarity to help them be a better version of themselves. I hope that what I'm saying will help this person heal from whatever it is they've been through. Because I tell you what, when you've been through something traumatic in your life, it's very difficult for you to kind of move on and to even find yourself or to pick yourself up. So I could be praying in my spirit right now as I'm talking to you. So my point is you can pray at any time, at any given time. But here's the key. It's also good to dedicate time to God, because not only does it show your respect for Him, but it also shows your love for Him, because you have dedicated a specific time to talk to your Father. And it is important to pour your heart out. It is important to talk to Him about anything and everything. It's not that He doesn't know, because some people are like, what's the point of talking to God when I already know what He wants to say? Think of you being a parent. And you can see your child kind of finding their feet and struggling with certain things or challenges, if it's at school, or maybe you heard of a bullying incident. The next thing your child says to you, Mom, Dad, I'd like to speak to you. And you know more or less what your child is going to say. You're not going to interrupt them because you want to hear their version or their narration of what it is that is irking them. That's how God is. It's not like He doesn't know what you're going through. Yes, He does know everything, but He would like us to also say it, to show that it's a genuine concern. Now you can say it physically and you can also say it in your spirit when you're praying to your Father. But dedicate time to God. Pull time out of your day when you're less busy. Preferably, obviously, at home. If home is a distraction and you can do it at work, fine. If you can't and you need to take a walk and go to the local park, then go ahead and do that. And spend time with God and pray to Him. You need to pray to God. And you can talk to God about anything and everything, as I said earlier on. Don't forget to thank Him. Don't forget to thank God from the time you were born and to the time that you join Him. You don't know what He's going to do for you in the future. Thank Him in advance and thank Him for what He has done. It is important. You also would love it when your children come to you, if you're a parent, and they come to you and say, you know what, Mom, thank you for everything you've done. You know what, Dad, thank you for what you have done for me. Thank you for taking me to school. Thank you for the clothes. Thank you for whatever. Even you, as you're listening to me, if you know you've got somebody around your space that you also need to thank that person. Life is so short. People pass away, and all you just hear sometimes at funerals is, I never got a chance to say thank you to this person. Life is so short. So the same thing with God. Don't forget to thank Him when you ask Him for certain things and He hasn't answered you immediately, but you believe. Through faith, you believe that He's going to answer them. Pray and thank Him and say, Father, thank you. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you that I'm still alive. Thank you that you have given me yet another day, yet another hour to live, to achieve whatever purpose it is you have for my life. Don't forget to thank God. And then here's the most important part after prayer. Don't forget to keep quiet. Because sometimes we are so enveloped in prayer, and we pray and pray and pray and pray, and it's our own voices, and we keep saying stuff and saying stuff and saying stuff, and I'm not going to say we're babbling like pagans, as the Bible says, but we just keep talking and talking and talking and talking, and we just say, thank you, Heavenly Father, for everything that you've done. I appreciate it, and I know that you are a loving Father, and I know that you are everything I've asked for, you're going to do it in the name of Jesus Christ, I pray, amen. And then that's that, and then you get up and you get about your business. No. Prayer shouldn't be rushed. Now, obviously, this is case specific, but quality time with Him should put you in a space of calm, in a space of silence. When you finish praying, be silent. Example, be silent. He will talk to you. You will hear something in your spirit. You will hear something in your spirit in response to your prayer. It might not be the answer that you're looking for at that time, but I can tell you that it's something that you need. God will never tell you something in vain. Never. And I don't believe that he doesn't talk to his children. He talks to all of his children. It's just that we're not willing to listen. There's two. There's one. There's a reason. We have to listen more intently. So don't forget to be quiet every time you pray. And remember, whatever gift God gives you, he does not take away. The devil takes away your gift again. But whatever God gives you, he will never take it away from you. Never. He will always help you find your way back to whatever he has purposed or ordained for your life. And then the last point is don't resist change. Actually, it's the second last point, number 7. Don't resist change. Change can really be good, but because we're so used to our safe zones and our comfort zones, we resist change. And I talked about this earlier on. And I said, and believe me when I say resisting change only hurts you more. And I'll give you an example of change. A perfect one. Change like when you break up with somebody. Change like when you are retrenched or you have to relocate. There is nothing that is more uncomfortable to a human being than removing them from something they're very comfortable from. It is the most uncomfortable, and you can actually watch people change into these almost violent creatures because they're not used to change. We just like our comfort zones. We want to be left alone. We want to do what we want to do when we want to do it. But when somebody comes into our space, or when life happens and it, literally grabs hold of the carpet that's under our feet and we fall on our bum or fall flat on our face, we get angry, we lash out at the person or the object of our pain. Here's the thing. In every situation, before you react, take time to process. And I remember talking about this in one of my videos, and I said take time to process and acknowledge what has happened to you. Don't just react for the sake of reacting. We can all react. I mean, really, we can all react. Who doesn't know how to react? It's how we react. It's how we react that defines our character. Change is very uncomfortable. But here's the thing. It is never meant to hurt you. It is meant to grow you. Maturity will teach you that. So if somebody says, I don't want you anymore in my life, it's painful. Yes. How do I pick up the pieces? How do I move on from here? It's painful. I agree. It may be painful for a week. It can be painful for hours. It can be painful for months. But you know what? Don't dwell too long on the pain. Trust and believe that something else bigger and better is coming your way. When you spend time fighting the process, resisting the change, you are only doing yourself more harm. And honestly, I know that God has orchestrated all our lives. And when we lash out, we are literally deviating from the path that God has set for us. And he'll wait for you to finish with all your temper tantrums like a toddler until you come back to that path. Don't resist change, no matter how painful it is at that time. At that time, you think it's painful. But guess what? God never leaves his children. He will never leave us, neither will he forsake us, as his word says. So he will bring you back, bring it better, bolder, bigger for you. So resisting the change, fighting with a colleague because they got a promotion, sabotaging them, whatever the case is, it's not good. Don't fight that change. Don't resist the change. Process the things, and I posted this actually on my Facebook. I don't know if I'll insert a clip. Hopefully I will. I tell you now, this YouTube thing just really helps you expand your creativity skills. Anyway, process the things, the changes that you go through in life. Holding on to the past prevents you from walking into new opportunities and becoming a stronger, more confident version of yourself. Remember, God is concerned about everything concerning you. Change is meant to grow you, to teach you, to strengthen you, and you will become a wiser person. You will learn that it's not everything to respond to. It's not everything you will react to. It's painful, whatever change it is that's coming. Change is very uncomfortable. very uncomfortable for everybody. Some people are really, very good at just snapping into change that quickly. The majority of us really aren't. We really aren't. And we spend time mulling, and God is telling you, there is so much better and bigger I have for you, and you are wasting time thinking about something that I have removed from your path, and this is where I want you to go. But you're like, no, you want to be a baby, you want to sit in the same spot, and you want to mull over the same issue, you want to cry over the same issue, and it doesn't help you. It doesn't move you forward. Right? So don't resist change. That's how you also find yourself. When you just move with the tide and you bob with the wave, I promise you it's taking you to a better place. You just don't see it yet. And what I love God as well, even more, is because if He were to show us everything, life would be boring. But it's so nice to discover things on your own and you realize your potential. Your eyes will shine so bright. It's just like when a kid cracks a puzzle and they come to you and scream, Mom, Dad, I've done it, I finished the puzzle. And you think, yes, my child is intelligent, my child cracked it. And guess what? This is what you'll do as a parent. When you start with a 4-piece puzzle, you'll move to a 6-piece puzzle, to an 8-piece puzzle, then to a 20-piece puzzle, to a 50-piece puzzle, to a 100-piece puzzle, then 1,000 pieces. And that is what God does. Once you cross one hurdle, a bigger one comes. And we just have to figure it out. We don't have to know how long it'll take. Actually, it's a really good analogy. Thank you, Jesus, for that example. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So with each level that comes, you build more confidence, because when you look back, you think, but I passed these other ones. And they begin to look easier because you've passed them. But there's bigger challenges in front, and they make you more confident. Now when you look at more pieces, you're no longer overwhelmed by the enormity of that puzzle or the number of pieces. You think, you know what, I'm going to build each piece. Oh, thank you, Holy Spirit. That is a beautiful example. I'm going to figure it out. I am going to figure it out. As long as I have God by my side, I will figure it out one way or the other. Can you imagine if you had somebody just doing absolutely anything and everything for you? How boring life would be. How boring life would be. But when you put those pieces together, the picture eventually begins to be clearer. So much clearer. I'm beaming because I'm just amazed at this analogy that the Holy Spirit just gave me now, because it's really a beautiful example, I feel. Anyway, moving on to point number 8 of investing in yourself. Funny enough, speaking of puzzles, before I move on, I was speaking to a colleague of mine there. So my colleague says, so I'm asking if he's got any suggestions of things that one can do, to kind of while up time and stuff like that, or to just as extracurricular activities for adults. This is what he tells me. Apparently there are adult coloring books, and I just honestly, I was surprised. I looked at him and I'm like, what? So this is me now with my colors, my crayons, in a coloring book, and I'm like, and then by the time I'm done, I'm like, ta-da! First of all, as a grown woman, who on earth am I going to be showing a coloring book to? Honestly, if you ask me, I think that is crazy. Okay, that's cool. Okay, let me not even comment. I'm not even going to say anything, because there could be somebody watching me who does that as an adult and they really enjoy it. I don't see anything enjoyable at my age of colouring in and making sure I don't go out of the lines. Just saying it sounds crazy. But you know what, man? There's different things that people do on this planet that give them complete pleasure and satisfaction. So if colouring is your thing, hey, who am I? Right, let's move on to point number 8 and then we conclude this topic for today. Point number 8, which is a very important point, is read the Bible. Read the Bible. That's how you'll find yourself. Every character and version of persons on this planet is in the Bible. They're in the Bible. They're in the Bible. So you'll find a character that you can resonate with or you can relate to in the Bible. So make sure you read the Bible. Another thing you should read the Bible, or another reason why you should read the Bible, is because the Bible is there is for you to know God. When you pick up a book or novel and it's a biography of a person, You're reading it because you want to know who the author is. That's a purpose. The same thing with the Bible. If you read the Bible, you will know who the author is, who the creator is, who the manufacturer is. When you buy a piece of equipment, you will read the manual because you want to know what the manufacturer was thinking when they created that particular object, device, whatever it is. Read the Bible. It's very important because it will help you get to know God more. And when you get to know God more and He speaks to you, He will reveal His purpose for you, and He will help you find yourself. He will help you heal. He will help you prosper. He will help you pass through challenges and hurdles. He will give you advice. He will counsel you, and He will spend a lot of quality time with your Maker. So yes, those are my 8 pointers of how to find yourself. And I'm sure I could get to, I think with all the topics that I've written, there's a part 1 and definitely there'll be part 2s with each and every one of the topics, I feel. Because actually I was thinking about it this morning as I was taking my shower, and I was thinking, I could actually revisit some of the topics that I've touched before, perhaps not now obviously, but at some later stage. Excuse me, that I could touch on and expatiate, because I feel that a lot of them have a lot more pointers that I wasn't able to fit in at, to the particular topic at that time, because I'm trying to keep them at least around about an hour in length, or slightly under an hour. So we will see how the Holy Spirit leads me. And that brings me to a close of my topic today on how to find yourself. We are all a work in progress. Nobody's better than the other. But we are all divine human beings. We are all divine beings. And I believe in growth. I don't believe in judging a person. I really don't. You get people who are resistant to change, and there's a reason why they're resistant to change. It's not for me to judge them. It's for me to try and possibly put myself in their shoes if I can. Some things are just not meant for you to understand. It's one of those where you just accept it and you let go. But I hope that you enjoyed today's topic on my pointers on how to find yourself. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I know I had a very awkward moment of silence there. It's because I was thinking, is there anything else I'm leaving out? I don't think that there is. I really don't think that there is. So don't forget, I'm still looking for a video on someone who will show me how to say healing one heart at a time in sign language. And as I've always said in my videos, I will explain why I want it in sign language. It's very important. That's the reason why I keep on asking, and I will still keep asking until I find someone that can help me do that in sign language. If the person wants to record a video of doing it, then I'd be very happy, to learn. I'll add my email address. Please email the video to me on how to say that in sign language, and I'd really appreciate it. I really would appreciate it. But I had fun recording this video. I'm using my camera this time. I'm not using my phone. I know there was a bit of noise in the background. I do apologize for that. But I'm really glad that I got to record another video this Sunday afternoon. I'm going to relax and probably have my meal, my Sunday lunch. Unfortunately, I didn't go to church because obviously there's a lot of restrictions that have been put as per the coronavirus. And I pray to all the families that have lost people, that have passed away because of this dreaded disease. All I can say is God knows everything that happens on earth. Nothing is new to God. Nothing is new. And His children will never be afraid, because those who trust in the Lord will never be put to shame. Never be put to shame. So don't walk around in fear. Don't walk around in fear. Be cautious, but don't walk around in fear, because fear is what the devil feeds on to trap us and to keep us from living the very best lives that God has given us. Spend quality time with loved ones. Life is so short. It's always short, and I always talk about this, how short life is. Spend quality time with loved ones. Last week I didn't record because I actually had gone out and we had a family lunch, and we hadn't had that in a very long time, and I was really, really happy to spend quality time with my family. So I hope you get to do the same this weekend and all the other weekends. Make sure that you dedicate time for your loved ones. But I'm signing out. This is Intimate Conversations with Francis O'Brien. Of course, healing one heart at a time by God's grace. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click the notification button at the bottom of this video or at the corner of the video screen. So when I upload a video, you don't get to miss any of the content that I upload. Until I meet you guys next time, be blessed and stay blessed always. Have a good week.